Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. So we have the defense ministers meeting coming up, and there's a lot to discuss. I mean, first, of course, we have the new defense minister Fedorov of Ukraine, who is known for its defense innovation. Really, he's participating in the meeting. What is important is to know that Russia is not winning this war. The casualty rates are surging. Their economy is not doing well. So, of course, we are discussing what more can we do in order to help them, but there's also a lot we have to learn from them when it comes to defense innovation and how to ramp up our defense spending really fast. Then, of course, we are also discussing our contribution to the security guarantees. We have been discussing the training of the Ukrainian soldiers also on the soil of Ukraine. We have identified 2 training centers that could be used for that purpose. Then, of course, the financing is still an issue. First, I want to also thank the European Parliament for this swift approval of 90 billion loan. There is very important that the priorities the urgent priorities of Ukraine are important, and also the flexibility of using these funds is important. But in addition to that, we also need private capital, and for that we have 2 proposals for the European Investment Bank. First is to also earmark some of the funds for the production in Ukraine, and also the other part is to define the dual-use production of dual-use goods the same way as it is for the Ukrainian, for the European companies, because it's narrower currently for Ukraine. So, and after then we will have discussion of the outlook of 2026. There, of course, we will discuss also the new European security strategy and what member states want to see there. Thank you.
High Representative, the NATO agreed on the Arctic Sentry mission today. What role can you play on this matter?
Well, European countries are also part of NATO. That's very clear. We are in European Union also developing our own new Arctic strategy. What is different from the previous one is that the previous ones address the climate issues, the research issues, fisheries and environment, but didn't address the security issues. So we are definitely contributing to that. But I was just recently in the Arctic, and I think it is also important that we, of course, remain vigilant, but don't draw our attention away from where the threats currently are the acutest, which is, of course, Ukraine.
How much of the concern the focus does seem to be on the Arctic rather than Ukraine?
Well, I think it's important that we have, recognized what kind of risks Arctic also entails, considering the climate change and also considering the security aspects there. But when I was in the Arctic, then I was quite, I was convinced by the local actors as well that I actually have a lot to use there, but also the risks depend on how the war in Ukraine goes. So that's why, the focus there where the threats really are the hottest, which is Russia's attacks on Ukraine every day.
About the situation that you are mentioning, these loans, big loans for Ukraine, your priority is to spend for European companies purchase, military purchase, but NATO is pushing more for opening the possibility for U.S. to participate, but also the same aspect. You mentioned the last time the conflicting relationship with NATO. You said we have to look what NATO needs.
Well, we have very good relations with NATO, and actually we have really coordinated our steps so that we don't duplicate in any way. NATO has capability targets, but member states need to fulfill those capability targets, and that means the industry needs to also align with this. Now, using the 90 billion loan, the flexibility is very important, and that's why we have built in sort of cascade method. If European companies or Ukrainian companies are not able to provide the capabilities that Ukraine needs or produce them right now, then the money goes outside. I think it's also, push for competition inside the European defense industry to move faster, because otherwise you will just lose the money.
Can you please tell us, can Moldova count on European support on the basis of the presented action plan for drone security, and on a practical level, how can this happen?
Well, Moldova is one of our priority countries, because Moldova is also a candidate country, and the security of Europe is very much intertwined with the security of Ukraine as well as Moldova, and that's why we are trying to also in all our projects really counter the candidate countries in and consider also their security risks. We have used the EPF, the peace facility funds, for helping Moldova to also address the security concerns. We also had a good project on countering FIMI that other candidate countries want us to use. So there's a lot we can do together, because, like I said, the security of Moldova is equally important to us.
Today you will discuss also on Middle East, especially in Syria, because right now more than 10,000 members of the ISIS in jail. So some of them, they are originally from Europe, from Belgium, France, Germany. So could you tell me, Europe is ready to take them back?
Yes, the issue of the ISIS camps is really our worry as well. But today, with the defense ministers, we don't really plan to discuss unless somebody raises this, because it's not one of the topics. But with the foreign ministers, we really discuss this, the situation in the northern Syria, and we also discuss this with the regional actors. I mean, I was in contact with the Iraq foreign minister, because clearly, what is moving to their direction, and the questions you posed are also the questions that they pose to our countries.
The port of Orlev, which is located in Georgia, is the part of sanctions of 20th package, because it means that Georgia is helping Russia to circumvent these sanctions.
Yeah. The work on the 20 package is still ongoing. We have put a lot of proposals on the table, and I also expect to have the discussions on the G7 regarding the maritime services ban, for example. So I will not comment on the specific, proposals, because unless everything is agreed, nothing is agreed. That's why.
Zelensky organize elections in Ukraine soon. How long can you put that off?
Majority of European countries have in their constitution, a provision that elections are not held during war. And why? Because, if you have elections, it's always fighting inside between different fractions. And when you have outside attacks, literally, then you just can't hold elections, because your adversary is outside and you need to concentrate all the efforts to counter that. And that's why I think, having elections while the war is still going on is definitely not a good solution. Maybe, the hope is there that there's going to be peace, but at the same time, I don't see Russians really making any efforts to have peace right now. Thank you very much.